everybody! Welcome back to the stream. Good to see everyone showing up. Or if you're not showing up, you'll be here eventually. It doesn't matter, even if you're lurking or want to chat, it's up to you. Everybody is always welcome to my chat as long as you're not an idiot about it, which very few people ever are, and I appreciate everybody who shows up regardless. But enough of that rambling. Today is a day that I've had kind of played up for a while. I've been thinking about, what themes I could do, because in the past I've done the biggest one I can think of was playing the Metal Gear Solid series. I did 1 through 5, and I even played Revengeance, although I didn't finish that one because I don't like that game, which apparently I'm in the minority on. But I was thinking, okay, well, what other series can I do just to kind of have fun with? And just tonight, it's going to be like a Shinobi stream. I'm going to be going through and just playing the Shinobi games from the arcade, the Sega Genesis, and even the Sega Saturn. I might even play the PlayStation 2 version. I don't know at this time, but we'll figure it out. We'll see how long the stream goes. I'm also having another idea. Right now, I'm thinking of series that I could go through, play, and complete, and that would be Donkey Kong Country. Let me write that down before I forget. Kong Country 1 through 3. Full playthrough. Okay, so yeah, that'd be cool to do. Because I can actually do that on my RetroArch and actually do the actual streaming. To tell you the truth, I actually like Donkey Kong Country 1. That is my absolute favorite. 3, I'm kind of in the middle about. I don't like it or hate it. Love it or hate it. I'm just kind of it's an alright game. 2 is everybody's favorite except for mine. I'm not really that big of a fan of it. I just thought it was kind of okay. They definitely upped the difficulty level. I have it complete in box. So I own all the Japanese versions and the American versions. But I even have number 2 in a box, but I was just whatever. But I'm thinking that'd be kind of cool to just give them a full playthrough, give my updated thoughts on it. Maybe I might like Donkey Kong Country as well. But regardless about talking about Donkey Kong Country, let me go through and we're going to start up the stream right now in just a second. Let me get this paused. There we go. Forgot to pause the music. I just muted it up. So we're going to start off with the arcade versions of Shinobi. I know you're looking at a blank screen. 1 second. Live split Elgato. You can turn off and there we go. All right. I'm come on, Final Burn Alpha. So there are 2 Shinobi games that I'm aware of that have hit the arcade. If you know of any more arcade games, let me know. Shinobi and Shadow Dancer. Shadow Dancer, I also own the original trilogy of Shinobi games for the Sega Genesis. I'll not be playing them on the actual system because there's a problem with my Model 2 I have. Is that apparently it's overmodulating sound, so it causes crackles and pops, and it gets really annoying to listen to through the stream, through the RetroArch. Not RetroArch, but the RetroTink. It's the only system that has that problem with it. Everything else works just fine. So I'm going to be emulating the games. But Shadow Dancer is a completely different game versus the arcade, and you'll see that in a little bit. Now, back when I was living up at K.I. Sawyer Air Force Base, which is Upper Peninsula of Michigan, many years ago, on base we had a facility called the Youth Center. It's basically for teens, kids to go hang out, have a safe place to go. Even though you're on a military base, you're pretty safe already. But, it's basically you could hang out there. They had, kind of junk food you could buy, fast food type things. You could order, mozzarella sticks. They'd fry them up for you. It was kind of fun. Billiards tables, ping pong ball, basketball court. Some places had tennis. It was crazy. But they also usually had arcade machine or 2. And they'd mix out the games and so forth. But the 2 that ended up staying there constantly were Shinobi, this game, and Street Fighter 2. So those were the mainstay of my early teenage years. So I am quite familiar with this game. It doesn't mean I'm good with it, but I do remember quite a lot of it. So we'll see how it goes. Let's get this started up.
Mission 1.
Apparently I'm playing the Japanese version. 1 second. Let's do Shinobi. Let's see. Didn't realize it was coming up the Japanese version. It seems that I might only have just the Japanese version? So I'm looking through I have a full Final Burn Alpha ROM set. I see like System 1, Set 16, Decrypted, Unprotected, a bootleg. This is Set 6, System 16A, Unprotected. Let's try this one. We'll see what this comes up.
Mission 1.
Huh, okay. Well, I'm guessing maybe every single one is Japanese. I don't know. I apologize. I should have figured that out beforehand. But basically, it's just like kill Ken, you know, stop the ringleader type deal. It's not really heavy on story.
Mission 1.
And of course, if there's any type of audio problems, like if the game is too loud or too quiet, or I'm too loud, too quiet, please let me know. I want to make sure the stream is best as it can be. And alright, so that's magic. Okay, let's restart. The game, when you go to reset, like, you go to set up the buttons for this game, it's fire 1, 2, 3. It doesn't tell you what they are. So now I know that the first button I have is going to be that, so let's not do that. Okay, and recent, go! Alright, round 5.
Mission 1.
Thinking I could probably actually translate the beginning intro part, but I'll worry about that later. Okay. Crap. Alright, I really need to change the input for this. I'm sorry, everybody. Let's see. Fire 1 is going to be here. Change that. Okay. It's just gonna keep screwing up with me if I don't change it to something that's not gonna make me keep pressing it over and over. I'm sorry. I know, like, my streams are usually kind of mediocre or crazy, and this is kind of getting right up there again, I guess. Alright, so let me... It's like, take 8.
Mission 1.
Alright, so let me think about this here. It's... terrorist. I can make that out. Diddleto. Terrorist. Probably like, I think it's like hunt the terrorist or follow the terrorist. Alright, much better. Okay. This I can do. I'm just hoping I don't have the same problem with Shadow Dancer. And this got ported to like every single console. I remember my neighbors back when I lived in Utah when I was a little kid had this on their Nintendo. And I think like the best version for the home was probably at the time was the TurboGrafx 16. Okay, so if you press down and jump, it's just gonna throw you right into whatever you got there. Got it. So yeah, even like the TurboGrafx 16 got a port of this game, or PC Engine, depending on what region you are in the world. And to my knowledge, it was pretty much almost arcade perfect. I don't remember having any problems with it. Now the boss, you need to jump up and hit him in the head, but can be a little tricky when you get to him. And, oh no. Okay, I got lucky on that 1 second. Okay, so Marilyn Monroe portrait is in this game. I don't know why. I've actually seen articles, like they actually tracked down the artist who did it and put it in there, and there's this big long thing, but I didn't get the chance to read it. It's one of those things I always remember wondering, like, while I was in the arcade, I'm like, you know, playing this at the youth center, was like, why does it have a picture of Marilyn Monroe? And, discount Spider-Man. That could have been bad. And if I remember correctly, he keeps advancing on you, too. Oh, I thought that was going to disappear. I thought wrong. There we go.
Mission 1. Finished. Welcome to bonus stage.
And this is the famous bonus stage. Used to be able to get this all. I'm sure that I'm going to get smacked in the face by somebody at some point. Like this guy. You failed! That's okay, keep going.
Mission 2.
Black Turtle. I think this is the level that introduces like the green ninjas, which take like 2 or 3 hits. Oh, okay. Oh, turn around! Game's like, no, you're gonna keep crouching. You gotta learn today. There's another game called eSWAT. I actually have it for my Sega Genesis, and I know it's a completely different game. It's kind of like Shinobi, if I remember correctly. But my favorite kind of like all-time Shinobi favorite clone knockoff kind of similar game is Rolling Thunder. That is a fun game. I should play that sometime. Ah, down and jump. Okay. Ah, crap. Okay. Still learning. Haven't played this game in probably about 15 years. Doesn't excuse my poor gameplay. I mean, I was never really that great. I think the farthest I got in this game in the arcade was like Mission 4. And that's where the game gets like absolutely ridiculously insanely hard. Oh, crap, he throws it on the ground. Okay. Okay, remember to jump. Yay! Making progress, slowly and mediocrely. Oh crap. Okay. I'm still trying to think of like other games to speedrun, because I'm just like a one-trick pony when it comes to speedrunning. I can do Bayonetta 2, and that's like it. I tried to do Ninja Gaiden, Black, and it's just like the RNG just frustrated me to no end in that game, so I decided kind of against it. I like playing it casually. I'm still trying to think of like what game would be kind of fun to do as like a speed game. And of course, when you're doing speedrunning, it really is like you have to pick what game that you want to do. You know, you can't have somebody say, hey, play this game. Because if you don't like it, you're not going to be able to speedrun it, because you got to play that game over and over and over and over again. Like, people like Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, and I actually do not like those games, which is not surprising, because it seems to be my all-time thing of, like, I don't like games everybody else likes, it seems like. And, like, collectathons just aren't really for me. I enjoyed Conquer, Bad Fur Day, but that was a collectathon too, and that's kind of like, it wasn't like, oh my gosh, this is the best game ever. It's kind of like more like, I tolerated it. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of like what would be good to learn as a speed game. Something retro, of course. I don't really have anything modern I really want to do. At one point I thought about doing Devil May Cry, like the DMC that people complain about, but didn't really play. Which is a shame, because it's actually a pretty good game. Okay, that person's still got... Taboo. Oh, X, it's good to see you, buddy, but no, I don't think I'll be speedrunning Taboo. I thought about Chippendale Rescue Rangers, but I'm like, I'm still not good at that game, so... You gotta be like somewhat good at something to just kind of start doing it, I guess. So like something like an arcade game might be fun. I think maybe Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, because I do like that game, but beat 'em ups, I don't know. I have to figure out what would be the fastest strategy, because I am not quick at those games so far, because I know that like a lot of like arcade speedruns for like beat 'em ups are like something like usually like 15 to 20 minutes. So I think people can like speedrun Final Fight in like, I want to say like 20 minutes or less. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs I think is around a 20-minute game for speedrunners too. Screw y'all, you're getting all the multiple me's. At one point, like, really? Yeah, really, it happened. Speedrunning Nier Automata. Still a friggin' fantastic game, but it's like, my arthritis is like, no, that's not gonna happen. It's like way too much dashing, and my hand just can't hold up to it. I mean, I can barely do Bayonetta 2. It actually triggered a fibromyalgia flare-up. And I don't know if it's just my time of year that it happens, because it's usually around this time, or if it's just stress from playing too many games in a row. So I try to avoid like intensive heavy stuff, really. Oh, I am just terrible at this. Which is not really a surprise. We'll give it about another 4 minutes. No, I did not get an Xbox One. I have a launch PlayStation 4. I never got a Pro because screw Sony for that. Still not happy with what they did. Oh really? Razor's Edge finally hit? That's awesome. Because I know that Black was like a long time ago, and 2 dropped like, what, 2 weeks ago? Something along that. But Razor's Edge, that's good. At least it wasn't vanilla. Because I mean, that is just, whoa. I streamed that once and people were just horrified at what the game used to be like. It's like, yes, Razor's Edge is still a turd. It's polished, but it's better than what it used to be. But my friend Frey Pursuer, who plays Ninja Gaiden games like nobody's business, I mean, he is just ridiculously good. I've talked about him before on the stream before. He was telling me that, like, he was playing the, he's got an Xbox One, and he was playing Ninja Gaiden 2, and there's one scene on, like, on the last level, I believe it is, like, you're just running up the staircase, and there's so much, like, there's so many ninjas on the 360 version coming at you, they actually cut down the amount of them, that, like, the amount of enemies in the PlayStation 3 version, but on the 360 it would just chug. Like the gameplay would drop. It would drop by like half. So it was like, oh my god. So it was like it'd be in slow motion, and there's nothing you can do. It's just wave after wave, and you're playing it like you're half speed. It's ridiculous. He said that on the Xbox One backwards compatible version, because of the extra horsepower there, that there's no slowdown whatsoever. He was getting ready for like the usual part to be slow, and he's like, "Oh my god, it's going fast!" It threw him off. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a shame that 04 isn't really backwards compatible, but I mean, I can understand why. I mean, I streamed it a couple days ago, just I think like the first 4 levels. It's definitely a different beast, and not a lot of people play it, so... And I can see why. It's like, it's one of the games that really changed for the better when they made Black. I mean, because it was... I mean, like, you really had to focus on chaining all your ultimate techniques together. Because you couldn't just sit there and charge it up. Like, when they did Black, it completely changed the gameplay. Which is something you don't really notice until you go back and you play 04. And you're like, oh, wow, okay, they really changed up the game. Was it just like a rebalance? Like, okay, let's make some enemies weaker or your weapons stronger or whatever. This was like completely mechanic change, which you don't really see very often. It was like, the nearest comparison for that would be Ninja Gaiden 3 Vanilla versus Razor's Edge. It was pretty much on that quality of like, okay, we're going to change how things work. Oh, terrible. Alright, enough of this. Let's move on to the next game. We're gonna do Shadow Dancer, which I have not played the arcade version in... I don't even know how long. It's been too long. But I remember you start off in an airport, and the Sega Genesis version, which we'll be playing too, completely different game. It's like same name, different game. And yes, I do know that that is a YouTube channel, or one of the people I follow on YouTube, I can't remember his name right now, actually does a category like that. Same name, different game. Compares the two. Let's do Shadow Dancer. I never saw this in the arcade. Like I said, as I mentioned earlier, the youth center back at KI Sawyer Air Force Base, where it shut down, had the original Shinobi arcade machine. Used to be able to get to level 4, not this time. Let's see. Attack, jump, ninja magic. I'm more familiar with the Sega Genesis version of this game, but I'm just like watching the arcade like, oh, okay, so in the Genesis version, your dog could get shot, so... Pardon me. Alright. Push one player start button only. What if I hit attack? Wow, in most games, like, you hit anything, it starts up. Now it's just like, you have to press player 1. Obstruct the enemy's deadly mission. I don't know if that's, like, bad English or bad translation, or... It's just a weird sentence all over. Imagine it right now, you just have like a TSA agent. Sir, can you please put your shoes on the conveyor belt? Thanks, dog. I'd say this is a very inconvenient airport. I mean, they got like random boxes here in the way, whatever these things are. people with shotguns throwing extremely physics-defying knives at a slow speed. So, like, to answer, like, one of your previous questions, I know I did, like, I never got an Xbox One. I thought about it, but I'm just like, there's not really any games that I want to play on it. It'd be kind of like my Xbox 360 right now, where I have it just mostly to play backwards, like, the original Xbox games on, at a higher resolution. It'd pretty much be that. It'd be like, okay, I'd just be playing 360 games on it still, so... There isn't, like, any exclusives that maybe go, yeah, this would be good to have, because all their games are on the PC as well. Okay, so your dog can get hit. Yeah, it's like I said, it'd just be a backwards compatibility machine, which is what I have right now. So game sharing, you'll have to explain that to me, what exactly that is. Because I have like one idea what it might possibly be, and I might be completely off. Oh yeah, you are all over racing games. That's your bread and butter, your jam. Your other things that you put on bread and you consume. Was it Forza? I'm gonna guess it's Forza. If it's on Xbox One or Microsoft Series. I think I have it on PC. Tried it once or twice. Cool. I guessed right. Okay, so hiding in the corner does not work. Got it. Understood. Oh, okay. So didn't like the PlayStation 3 have something like that too? So I remember for a while people were like basically kind of like borrowing another person's PlayStation 3 to hook it up to theirs and like getting games that way. Ooh, this is an interesting take. Don't jump! You're not high enough! You'll just sprain your ankles! Go higher! Uh-oh. Oh, okay. Yeah, because I remember something like that. I never did it because I didn't have any friends who like lived near me and had like PlayStation 3, so... I didn't really get into PlayStation 3, like, start playing games for it until, like... I'd have to say when my Xbox 360 died for, like, the 4th time. And Microsoft were being jerks about replacing it. So I was like, okay, well, my PS3 is dead, let's start, or the 360 is dead, let's start playing PS3 games, and they're not bad. I can appreciate it more, but I still like the Xbox 360 more. Oh geez, I didn't even see that guy on the bottom, he blended in. Idea by Microsoft, if you had multiple boxes in the house, you could buy one copy of the game, share it along with Xbox Gold. Okay, that's pretty good. So it makes me really wonder, with Microsoft's huge debacle they had with the Xbox One, with the whole, like, you had to be online, you had to do had to check to see, like, you had to be online, and they check once a day to make sure that your system's legit. You couldn't share games, you couldn't rent games, things like that. Makes me wonder if they're going to try to do that nonsense again. You know, with the new system they have coming out. It's like, I hope not, because they just put out the sad version, which makes me laugh that they called it that, where it doesn't have an optical drive. It's all purely digital and not much of a money save. Get him, doggy. Oh, I suck. Mostly in PlayStation 3's online functionality. It was really... Well, the problem with the PlayStation 3, as far as I'm aware of how it worked, was basically like... There wasn't any central servers. Wow, I suck. Like for games, it was like up to developers and kind of doing a direct connection, versus like Microsoft, who just basically had the money to throw out a bunch of servers for a lot of their games. At least that's my understanding of how it was, so... And it was kind of like up to the games, because I played some games that were just like god-awful for online, and then you play a game where they had like money for it, like, for example, like Street Fighter 4. I mean, that one ran actually pretty good on PlayStation. Yes, Phil Spencer is like... is really good for the company. He's like one of those rare people who's like in the higher up position. He's just like, play whatever games you like. He's like, it could be our console, it could be Sony, it could be Nintendo, whatever, just as long as you have fun, play it. And he goes out of his way to congratulate other companies for having good selling games, which is insane. It's like, really? Yeah, it's something you usually don't hear, so it was kind of refreshing to have that. But yeah, like Don Matrick, he was just god awful. It would be, but I mean, I wouldn't put it past them. I mean, because if they did that, it wouldn't be what's his face? It wouldn't be Phil's decision to do so. Because I mean, he's calling for crossplay and things like that, and Sony's kind of like going, nope, we're the top dog. We're not gonna do it. If they're not the top dog this next console, the PlayStation 5, they'll be changing their tune again. Yeah, I mean, I've seen dumb stuff. I mean, it's like Sony. They did all sorts of stupid stuff. I mean, that's how you get the PlayStation 3. They got their butt kicked by Microsoft on that generation. They did better near the end, but... Why are you... Okay, so I don't have a ground attack? What the hell? I mean, they're being anti-consumer, they're censoring games. It's all that crap, so I could see them kind of going like the PlayStation 3 route again as we're super successful, we can do whatever we want, people are going to buy it, and, you know, and just get slapped down. That was basically Microsoft's attitude with the 360. Like, we sold so much, people loved us here, we can do whatever we want, people will like it, and pfft, crap. And they kind of got their butts kicked this time. I thought I continued. Okay. Dip switch assign. That's not going to help me. Coins. Start credit. Time adjust. Yeah, so that looks fine. I was thinking like maybe there's a limit to continues. Let's see. Set dip switch. Oh no, easy mode. Who would do such a terrible thing? Like me doing that. I just want to see what it's like on easy. Alright. But I mean, it's like you can do boneheaded moves and sometimes it pays off, but I mean... That's why I'm surprised Microsoft hasn't come to these small Japanese devs, gives out some dev kits and say, hey, bring the sweep title over like the Switch has without Sony Me Too restrictions. Yeah, it would be smart, but it's just... I don't know, it's kind of weird, like they're a very American company, of course, being Microsoft, but they, in just the same way that Nintendo is a very Japanese company of, this is how we've always done it, we don't want to change, and people are going to like us no matter what we do, so we're just going to keep doing it on, even if people Like, we're going to tell you what you're going to want to do. We're going to tell you how to like it, and you're going to accept it. So Microsoft seems to kind of have an attitude still. Nintendo definitely has. I mean, they always have. Which is why they keep selling underpowered stuff. I mean, if you can imagine, like, the Switch being able to at least compete with, like, PlayStation 3 in terms of power, because it's not that strong of a system. It's running on a cell phone chip. But, you know, if, like, I just want Nintendo to, like, have, like, a full-powered system again, you know? Even the Super Nintendo, as popular as that was still an underpowered system compared to the Sega Genesis, but it was newer technology. I tried to duck it too late. But it's just, like, I want them to actually be competitive. The only thing that came close was the GameCube, which actually was a pretty good system. There wasn't a single game, really, that took advantage of its hardware to the fullest until, like, Twilight Princess, which I've read was, like, around 80% of what the GameCube could actually do. And that was, like, the last game for the GameCube. Yeah, I was like, I'm, as you know, a huge Bayonetta fan, and I'm still kind of worried about 3, just as in like, okay, it's like, you know, are they going to be able to make the game look good and run right? Because even Bayonetta 2 still has problems. I mean, it still has frame drops and jankiness and so forth. Yeah, the media storage and everything, because, I mean, the Switch is basically, it's Wii 2. It's all it is. It's basically, it's like, the Wii U was like their prototype, and the Switch was the better refinement of it, really. And they still chose the 32 gig storage, and people are like, well, you can put, you know, you can put in your own SD card, but it's like, those tend to run slower. We actually did tests for that for Bayonetta 2 for loading speeds. And the internal run's still so much faster, so it's like, you can't really do it for speedrunning purposes. You're going to lose minutes over the entire course of a run. And you do something that small as, like, the Switch, you're going to have battery problems. It's just like, I don't get what Nintendo's thinking. And of course, Miyamoto was in charge for so long for development of the consoles, and which is why we have the Wii and the Wii U like that, because you have to have a gimmick. It's like the same reason why we haven't had a new F-Zero game is because, and this is on record, Miyamoto said, like, I can't think of a gimmick to put into the games. Like, you don't need a gimmick, just make something fun that people want to play. You don't have to have gimmicks for everything. Yeah, and that was kind of weird to have, like, Tiger Woods, you know, in GameCube was like 2 discs. It's like, okay, like, how big is this golf game? Jumping around. Jump up, get down. Get out of my way. I have to catch my flight. But yeah, it's like Nintendo always picks like these weird data storage things. Like whatever everybody is doing, they're like, we gotta do it differently because we're special. It's like, no, don't. Just do what you need to do. Like, okay, Blu-ray player or enough, you know, storage space to put things on there. Like my Switch could barely hold 2 games. I can put in Bayonetta 1 and 2, and then I have like 2 gigabytes free of space, and that's it. It's already full from 2 games. It's crazy. And then they wonder why, like, people bail on them, like, for development. It's like, well, no kidding. It's like, you put all these crazy crap in there. What developer wants to go, okay, like, I'm surprised even Mortal Kombat 11's on the Switch. Just because, like, they have to... The game is already a graphical hog, and quite impressive on the PlayStation 4, PC, and Xbox. And then, like, you have to figure out how to program it to run on a 1 megahertz core. It's like... That's insane. It's like, no wonder, it's like, even though, like, the Switch has more games, a lot more fans. You're seeing a lot of ports from Wii U. And then people are like, well, that's great because I didn't get to play this on the Wii U. It's like, yeah, but the thing is, I was like, they're able to do all these Wii U games because they're underpowered. Still, you know, it'll take a lot of like, you know, horsepower to do, and you're seeing a lot of indie games on there because those take next to nothing to run. You're not seeing like major competitive stuff, and thankfully now, a lot of people are finally shutting up about the whole like, you know, you'd have a new game announcement and people are like, bring it to Switch, like Nier Automata. I'm like, there's no way in hell this game is ever coming to the Switch. Just shut up. You want to play it? You want to play the game? That's great. Go buy the system it's for. They'll actually play it. Buy it on PC. Well, it's the obligation port. Otherwise, you'll just see the constant Switch port begging. Yeah, it's just every single game is bring it here, bring it to this, bring it to that. Like, what was it? Persona 5, which, as you know, I do not like to begin with. It's on the PlayStation 3. It's on the PlayStation 4. Buy one of those. Like, the only difference is basically, like the PlayStation 3 version runs at 30 frames per second versus 60. And I think that's just about it, really. And like, I think it's 720p on the PS3 versus, you know, the 1080p for PlayStation 4. So that's it. I mean, it's like you have more than one way to play this game. But people still yell like, I can't believe we're not getting a Switch port. It's like, just believe it, dude. It's like, it's the way it is. It's the way it's going to be. Just buy the system it's for. Yeah, but it's portable. People have a... Okay, let's see. I've seen people have a PlayStation 4, PC, Xbox One, still want a Switch port. Yeah, exactly. It's like, why would you want to play the inferior version? It blows my mind. And they're like, well, you can take it with you. But it's like, the Switch battery life sucks. It's like... It really is horrendously terrible. It's like, we've reached the limit so far for what batteries are capable. Batteries are horrifically inefficient for storing power and usage. And now they're like, oh, we're gonna, like, and the rumors are, we're gonna have a Nintendo Switch Pro, which is gonna be, like, faster processors. It's like, yeah, that's gonna eat up more of the battery. It's like, you're gonna have even less playtime now. It's like, it's dumb. Yeah, Ark Survival Evolved. What was the other god-awful game? Like, WWE, like, 2019? That's one that just chugs. It was, I think it was Modern Vintage Gamer. He overclocked his Switch. He's like, this game still doesn't run right. It was just so poorly optimized, it runs like garbage. So the only reason why I own a Switch is the same reason I only own a Wii U, is because Bayonetta came out on it. That's it. You know, eventually Bayonetta 3, fingers crossed, will be coming out. Which really pissed me off lately. I snapped at the people in the Discord for Bayonetta speedrunning. Because there was an interview with Inaba, was basically did an interview, and some little known video game website took a sentence fragment and just took it completely out of context. And they're like, yeah, like, we're changing the way we develop process. It was something like horrendously, like, not even correct. Like, I read that and went, okay, this is being mistranslated and taken from the middle of a sentence somewhere, because this doesn't mean anything. It's just nonsense. So then everyone started freaking out about Bayonetta 3. They're like, oh, they're changing how it is, and it's going to be screwed up, and they're going to go back like Metroid Prime. And I'm like, guys, chill out. It's a sentence fragment. Japanese is basically, it's not what you say, but how you say it and what context of the sentence, which gives the words meaning. It's very vague, generalized language. So I flipped on the VPN, started doing Japanese search so I could get all the results for it, found the full interview I'm like, okay, everyone relax. What they're doing is that the games that they were developing at Platinum is that they would do chapter 1, and then they do, okay, chapter 2, then chapter 3, then chapter 4. They do games in sequence instead of saying, okay, this group over here, you're going to be working on the first 3 levels here, you're going to be taking the end parts, you're going to be doing credits, you're going to be doing this there, and then basically try to combine them through, get them to work and play together, and then do your refinements that way. That's how almost every single video game studio does it. They were doing everything sequential. And so Platinum's like, hey, we're changing our development process. We're going to start doing things like everybody else does. Isn't that amazing? And it's like, no, every other company that develops video games has done it the way you're bragging about now. It's like, oh, we're going to do things like everybody else. Hey, Nimix. So then you had all these articles coming out, this clickbait bullshit nonsense, where people are like, Bayonetta is confirmed to be to be chapter based, like you can play the game in any order you want, and then it's a massive online game. And I'm like, no, stop. And people kept like freaking out every single time in the Discord, like an article got posted about it, and somebody posted like a new like clickbait thing. It's like, okay, stop. Just like, do not post anything here. It's like, I went off on them. I deleted the messages later, but I was just ticked off. I'm like, stop posting nonsense like this. It's like, I've translated the original article. Now stuff has been translated better, so like the entire thing has been disclosed exactly what he was talking about. It's like, you guys have no excuse. Just chill out and wait. And thankfully, like, it's been all quiet on the Western Front, because like, that was just like, it was aggravating to nobody's end. All because Nintendo refuses to put out information about Bayonetta 3. And that is my Bayonetta 3 rant about Platinum Games. I'm just waiting for E3, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing it then, because they keep saying, hey, we're working on it. And like, can we see any pictures of it? No! Oh no, that poor man. You did that to him, Nimix. I know you did it. You're like, dude, it'd be totally cool if you did this again. He's like, no, man, I got out. You can't drag me back in. Oh, geez, 2 minutes of beating his world record. That's pretty good, because I know that he hasn't been playing that for a long time. I know he's been playing, like, Alias and Splinter Cell. So that's pretty impressive if you haven't, for like a D-Rust, or I don't know how long he's been playing it, actually. If it's a D-Rust and you come within 2 minutes of your world record, that's great. Sweet. Yeah, I mean, tests are like a great, valuable information source. Because, I mean, it's like, if somebody can take apart the game and see all those crazy things you can do with it like you did with that game, it's like, it definitely helps. Speaking of tasks, did you see the Donkey Kong Country Walkathon? Oh my god. Walkathon, as in I will run for a couple frames and then use Y, even though I said I'm not going to, and it's like, dude, it's not a walkathon if you're running in the game. He's like, well, I only do it for a couple frames. It's like, no, you're not walking. Yeah, so I don't know if it got approved. I think, yeah, it got approved because it's on the YouTube page. And they only post them up on the YouTube page, like, for the official task videos, if it's been approved. It's just like, he's just like, oh, see my notes for it. I'm like, dude, everyone can see you walking. He's like, I didn't use the Y button at all. And then, like, you see him use on guard, like the swordfish in the swimming level, and he's hitting Y because that's the only thing that makes you burst forward like that. I'm like, what the hell is this? And who voted for it and approved it? It just didn't. It didn't make sense, and like seemed like about a good chunk, maybe like a third or fourth of the comments were like me, like, why are you running? Why do you say no why in the comments when you're doing this stuff? It's like, just say you're just doing like some kind of like board, like half walkathon, like entertainment run or something like that, you know, like a slow run or whatever you want to call it. But don't call it a walkathon if you're running. Yeah, any percent overall categories, no matter what, you beat the game without any memory corrupting glitches. Yeah. I mean, that's like the big thing for tasks is like, okay, we're gonna glitch the hell out of the game. We're gonna corrupt RAM values and also all sorts of crazy stuff. But it's like, I like the tasks where you have like it seems like you have the possibility of doing it in real life. So I did see the Super Metroid one you pointed me out to. I can't remember, it was a Snick, I think it was, who did that. Like, I want to know how he fixed that video. I mean, it was pretty bonkers. I mean, the movement on that task was pretty crazy. And then, like, because I looked at his YouTube page, and he had the non-fixed version he put it up. I'm just like, well, how do you fix something like that? So, like, because the one I saw, the one you had posted to me, like, the link, was... It's like, you know, you had the graphical glitches with the door because he's just going too fast and just screwing up the game. So... It's just like, I wonder how he fixed it, because like, the one... When you linked is like, there's no graphical glitches except for him, like, moving ridiculously fast and sometimes walking on air. I wrote a Lua script to correct memory elements for the graphics. So I meant to ask you, are you going to too many games? Or would that be Nibix, I'm presuming you're asking right now? Because I would not be. Alright, enough of this. Let's switch over to the Sega Genesis version games here. Because I'm just trying to talk and play the games and doing none very well, so... Alright. Oh, me. No, I'm not doing anything. I'm not going anywhere. I don't have the ability to travel or go anywhere by myself, unfortunately. I'm not employed, so... Philly. Yeah, other side of the state, so that's like a 5 to 6 hour drive for me. So I will not be doing that, unfortunately. Yeah, not only am I constant fentanyl 24 hours a day, but yeah, I can't drive myself or anything else like that, so that would be a problem too. Okay. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to do anything like that or fun. Like, I really want to do GDQ, even though it'd probably straight up murder me. But I won't be able to do that really until I get back fixed and fused and all that stuff. It's going to be more years. I really, really wanted to run Bayonetta 2, but at GDQ, but that's never going to happen. Let's see here. I'm looking for it. I know I have this listed. I know you guys are looking at a black screen. I'm looking for... There it is. Pardon me. Go Cajun. Excuse me. Okay, so right now I actually have plugged in my Sega Saturn USB controller. Just, you know, not a bad controller to use for emulation. I was going to use RetroArch, but this still has a problem getting read correctly per game. So you can either do direct input or X input, and the buttons all get screwed up in RetroArch still, because I'd like to do that without the lag going through. Because you can actually set like a run ahead depending on how much RAM you have, like, or how much lag you have, and pretty much negate it out, which is pretty awesome. So I'm using Kgen instead, or Fusion, I should say. Shadow Dancer, here we go. And it'll be a little lag, but it's not going to kill me. But if it does kill me, I'm going to blame it. Secret of Shinobi. So, I own all these games for the Sega Genesis. Shadow Dancer, Revenge of Shinobi, and Shinobi 3, which is like Return of the Ninja Master. But with the RetroTink I have, there's a problem with my Sega Genesis, where it's like over-modulating the sound as far as I'm aware of. And it's just causing all the cracks and pops and everything else I used to have with every single game running through the RetroTink. But everything else works just fine. I mean, I plug in Super Nintendo, Sega Saturn, Xbox, no problems. It's just the Genesis. Reptilians! Oh, I knew it. The Reptilians are coming. Okay, let's do attack, jump, ninjutsu. Okay, so you just saw me playing poorly the arcade version of Shadow Dancer. This game is completely different. And of course, if I need to readjust audio or anything like that, please let me know. So apparently there's a massive earthquake and fire because those buildings are swaying like nobody's business. So for whatever reason I decided, like, okay, we're not going to do the arcade, we're going to do our own thing. About reptilians and reptile people. I gotta say though, I really do like this Sega Saturn pad. Works really well. The only difference really from like the actual Sega Saturn pad itself is that the triggers, like the L and R, do not click. I mean, they still, like, they still function, they work just fine, but they don't have the clickiness like the other ones used to have, which I don't mind. I mean, I don't need like loud clicking controllers, but other than that, it works great. If you get your hands on one, I'd definitely say do it. But of course, you have to go through Castlevania games, and that is a whole process and a half. Which is kind of funny because they actually contacted me today, like, "Hey, we just got back the retro tanks you sent back to us. Did we send you a new one?" It's like, okay, so you guys are not keeping track of your inventory. I need to turn it down a little bit in my headset. You guys aren't keeping track of your inventory. You say you just now got back the defective 2 retro tanks from the 3rd wave that I sent back like 2.5 months ago. And like, do you still need a replacement? I'm like, oh, I could have just said yes, and they probably would have sent me another one. It's like, holy crap, people. It's like, still, how do you have a business? Good job, dog. Glad you did that. Just jump into the hole. They're like, oh, did you ever get your Sega Saturn controllers too? I'm like, yeah, I would have been up your butt if I didn't. I had to wait a ridiculous amount of time to get them anyway, but it's like, yeah, they work great. They're fine. I think they were waiting for me, like, to try to give them, like, some testimonial, like, yeah, it's like, I'll write the review for your site. It's like, you don't want me doing that. This is gonna give me invincibility? Okay, slightly. Okay, this is gonna be tricky. Jeez. So he's got attacks from the original Shinobi, the Fire Breath. So he's kind of like a combination of, like, the first guy from Shadow Dancer the arcade, except for he's not throwing a bouncing ball at you, he's just having crap patterns fall from the ceiling. And then fire attacks, so, Okay. Good lord. I know this game is hard. It's like, I don't remember it being this hard. But of course, I'm also on drugs, so... Okay, so if he does fire, you don't have time to jump whatsoever. You gotta run. So your jump is very floaty. Only gave me 2 hits, and that's Seeks. Okay. Hey, it starts me here at least. I'm thinking like, crap, I have to do the entire level again. Jump up. Get hit, please. Thank you. So you get hit twice or 3 times. 1, 2. Did only 2. Take that. Your groin will suffer. And I think this has like the bonus level where you jump off a building, an impossibly high building. Yeah. I'm sure Tassus would get every single ninja on the way down. Because Tassus can do that. Yeah, it doesn't make sense that... Well, they seem like wildly inconsistent with their judging for task videos, you know? As you're well aware, having submitted multiple and having multiple approved, while I am just merely a watcher of them. But it's like, no, I'm a ninja. I can do that all the time. You should see Ninja Gaiden 3 Razor's Edge. I literally jump out of an airplane at 30,000 feet, hit the ground with no parachute, and I'm fine. But yeah, it's like, short games should be able to be judged quickly and fast. And then, like, you look at the submissions list for tasks, and you see, like, some videos have, like, a couple votes, others have none. There's no... like fast way to do it. It's like they're not going like first come, like first in, first out. It's like it's just okay, which one's the longest one? Everybody go vote on this, go and get it done here. It's just like it seems like scattershot whether people can vote on it or not. So they need some kind of like change to how they're doing it. It needs to be more uniform. It's like when I do the verifications for Bayonetta 2. For me, it's like when the Switch port dropped and I had like 9 runs, because we had like 1 super mod. The other person was like MIA, they hadn't been signed in like in months. They never had a run anyway, so I don't know how they even got to be a mod on it. But I was trying to get mod status for speedrun.com so I could just get the runs verified, and they're like, and people are like, well, when are you going to do mine? It's like, there's 8 or 9 runs waiting. Yours is the newest one submitted, so you're going to be last. It's like, I just went from the bottom to the top, watched them, and got them going that way. It's like, I didn't screw around. I took a day and just went through it and got everybody, their runs verified and looked at. It seems to be like, is it only like 6 people who do the judging for tasks? Because it seems like I can swear, like, some of them have like more judges on it. Like I've seen more people voting than others not. I've seen runs waiting like 3 months, it seems like, to get verified. It's like, what the hell is going on? I did it again. I'm an idiot. Okay, so it's like they need to... So they have less people doing it now. Like, what's the criteria for getting a run approved? Is it just like majority? Like, if 5 out of 6 agree, is that good enough? Or You know, it's like I have no idea how it works and how they have it set up. Okay, so I just jump at that guy and just smack him in the face. It's like things need to be definitely clearer. It's one of those things like I don't have experience tasking, so hopefully everybody does who's judging. But it's like, if you guys need help, like just watching things, I'll do that. It's like, that's not a problem. Does it look cool? Sure. Okay, it's approved. You know, it's like... Yeah, there's one I thought about doing, but it's still, like, time and effort. And fentanyl is literally kicking my butt into the ground. For, like, exhaustion-wise and everything else, and I'm having a fibro flare right now. I spent most of yesterday asleep. Like, just basically, like, sleeping constantly and laying down, not able to move much. So yeah, there's like one task I would probably do for Super Mario World. And that would be it, really. It's the only thing I could think of that I'd probably do, just to be entertainment-wise. Oh no, they will follow me. Let's face it, the dog is cool. It'd be even better and funnier if it was a Chihuahua. Just something like totally non-threatening. Even better, make it a cat. I mean, we got like attack dogs for like the cops and stuff like that. You know, like K9 unit. Why not have cats? Because I mean, that would really throw everybody off. It's like, stop or I'm gonna release the cat. The guy's gonna be like, what? And then next thing you know is like this big fur ball just streaking through the air, clawing your face out. Yeah, I think it'd be effective. The trick is, though, can you get the cat to follow your commands? Because they're a cat, and they usually hate people and don't do what you want. I have the one exception to the rule. Like, my cat is actually trained. I can say, come here, she'll come. I can tell her to sit, she'll sit. She can shake hands. It's like, most cats, she's the only cat I've ever had that I can actually train like that, which is completely bizarre. Especially because when I got her, she was borderline feral, so... But yeah, it's like, if you can get like an attack cat, that would be hilarious. I would love to see that. Some police force have an attack cat. You got the canine unit, you got the feline unit. Alright, sorry I had to stop and clean my glasses real quick. And back to the mediocre gameplay. So all bosses are summoned by a lightning strike. Lightning storms have to be hell on this planet. Pardon me. I've played Hagane. It's not a bad game. It's hard. I think the first I ever got in that game was like level 3. I think there's 6 levels total in that game. So I got around halfway, I think. Yeah, Hagane is like a game you really, really want to play either on a flash card on a CRT, or if you play it in RichWarch, basically turn on the low latency mode so basically you can negate the lag. Because that is a game you need to have like precision timing and reflexes on. But I mentioned it earlier, like at the start of the stream, I was thinking like, okay, what games could I do a series of? Like, months ago, probably, yeah, last year actually, I did like the Metal Gear Solid playthrough. I did 1 through 5 and Revengeance, although I didn't play all that because I'm not a fan of that game. But it's like, I was thinking, okay, what else can I do that's kind of like that whole series thing? I was thinking, oh, Donkey Country would be good. I like 1. 3 I'm kind of indifferent to. It's not bad. It's not great. It's alright. And then 2, which everybody seems to love and think is the almighty messiah of Super Nintendo games, I don't like. So it's like, yeah, I have all the games. I have the Japanese versions. I have the American versions. I even own number 2 in box, Donkey Kong Country 2 CIB, complete in box. So it's like, I was thinking like, oh, maybe I should do that. Just do a full playthrough of those games. Alright, dog, I hear you. Shut up. Snake coming outside Super Metroid World. Jeez, 3,000 frames. That's absurd. That is a huge time. He probably was. I mean, this game predates Sonic the Hedgehog, so maybe they got it from there. Like, what's the origin for Sonic the Hedgehog? A little game called Shadow Dancer. Yeah. And you kind of like, what was it, another 3,000 like on the other one, or was that just total? I can't remember, because I remember it was an absurd amount. You kept updating, like, you kept telling me, like, you know, Discord, like, hey, I just got, like, another 200 frames. It's like, dude. French is gonna be like, press start, you win! You know, it was like not understanding some strats, and then, like, you just need to have kind of like a fresh eyes approach to it, you know? As we discussed at one point, that sometimes you can just become blind to things. You know, if you keep looking at every, like, constantly, you overlook the easiest things that you just need a new fresh of eyes, or just take a break from it, come back to it and go, oh, hey, I missed this. Yeah, it was almost the Pi run. You know, 3.14. 3 minutes and 14 seconds, oh, this is gonna be bad. Tried to hit the ninjutsu button, just did it a little too slow. Hey, do you think I should stand to shoot the guy? No, keep crouching. Eventually he'll slip up. Oh, crap. Oh, yeah, I remember the elbow manipulation being pretty big. And also, like, it was kind of a bummer, like, you figured out how to clip through the ground in a couple places. It's like, but there's no way to really use it. That was kind of a shame. It's kind of like with Bayonetta 2. We know multiple ways how to get out of bounds in that game, but due to how it loads, like, the game loads in sections, you can't do anything with it. Like, you get out of bounds and you try to go forward, and the game just doesn't render the rest of it. It's just like, you just basically go into what we call glitch world. It's like, you see also, like, After Effects and all sorts of neat stuff, but it's like, you can't do anything of it. You can't use it to break the game and go even faster, because that would have been excellent, but it's like, crap, well, can't use that. Yeah, I was like, hey, cool, you can do this, and like, oh, neat, what can you do with it? And nothing. It's like, crap. Yeah. But, like, usually when you hear, like, about clipping about stuff, like, it's, like, for a massive time save or something like that. Like, the Sonic games, like, you can, like, clip through walls and do all sorts of crazy stuff. Mega Man, for example, you can do some crazy, crazy things with, like, clipping and manipulation, but it's, like, in Krusty was, like, 1 or 2 spots, and that was it, really. Oh, crap. I was thinking, like, oh, is that guy alive again? Yeah, he is. That answers that. Yeah, the zips. It's like almost every single Mega Man game seems to have that, just about. Except for 8, because 8's just not that fun. I have the Japanese version for my Sega Saturn. It's just like, it's not a good game. I did not like it. I liked 7. 7, actually, I did enjoy. I never knew that they made a 7, Mega Man 7, until, like, emulators came out and it was a thing. I was like, holy crap, there was a Mega Man 7? It's like, I had no idea. It's fun, but the problem with that game, though, is that, like, you're too big of a sprite for the game, so it's like you tend to get hit a lot. Hoping to push Krusty once again, just can't find the glitch. Maybe you will. Maybe you'll find a couple of frames here and there. I'm thinking if you... I don't think it's going to be as dramatic if you find something as, like, the second time you went through it. So I'm pretty sure, fairly certain that you got most of the big things that can be had in that game. Oh, jeez, come on. Jumping in midair would be really good. So that way, you know, you don't have to do the stair climb with the blocks, as you mentioned. That would be pretty big. Okay, just me or these guys kind of remind me of, like, the Frogmen from, like, Johnny Quest, the original one. Thinking it was possible after figuring out how to enter the door without having the floor underneath it. Couldn't figure out a way out. Yeah. I mean, there might be something there, and just, you know, you might just take something weird and kind of just define it. It's kind of like when Oldsblock just found, like, a crap ton of, like, warps and, like, Super and Mickey Mania, you know? You just never know what you're gonna find, and eventually, like, something will pop up. Do something crazy and you just might find the answer. Okay, so you pretty much have to use your magic there. But it doesn't matter, because I'm going to switch on to the next game. On to the good Shinobi games for the Sega Genesis. The ones that I actually enjoy playing. Power off. Let's see. Here we go. So I mentioned, like, Donkey Kong Country, doing a playthrough of those games. I'd be doing that on my actual Super Nintendo, which would be awesome. But I also mentioned this, too, before, like, playing all the way through and getting my butt kicked entirely through Super Empire Strikes Back for the Super Nintendo. When people say the Dark Souls of blank, that really is the Dark Souls of the Super Nintendo. There's no way around it. That game is brutal. I have no idea how I used to be able to play it as well as I used to. Let's see, Revenge is the first one I need. Let's see. Okay, so they put it underneath R, Revenge of the, instead of putting a Shinobi, the Revenge. Here we go. By Yuzo, I Steal Everything Koshiro. Oh, this is the version that has Spider-Man in it. Spider-Man, Godzilla, Batman, and Terminator. And yes, literally all those things are in this game. That will do. Yeah, so this one and Return of the Ninja Master, like Shinobi 3, those are my favorites of the 3 Shinobi games of the Sega Genesis. This is where it kind of got away from like the arcade version there and basically became its own thing finally. Try to turn it up just a little bit. It's not so much like the train like helping my back, because I mean I can still do like, you know, like airplanes and things of that nature, but it's just like the overall trip would be a long hassle for me because I have energy I gotta think about there. I got my fibro and other health conditions. And then also, like, because I have, like, almost no immune system, like, I've joked about, like, having to be in, like, a biosuit to function, you know, like, to basically not get sick as hell. It's like, so I'd be around people even more. And, like, it's just basically just, like, more of a time thing, like, to get there and convenience. Yeah, that'll be fine. So it's like train or flight or anything like that, it's just basically, do I have the energy to make it? And then just not get sick as hell. Up a bomb! I exploded a lot faster than I thought it would. That a double jump. Okay, there we go. I do. You have to press up and jump. Or not? Okay, I just did it a second ago. Unless it's a weird timing for it. Okay, it's a timing thing. Yeah, I got a 1-up. Give me the POW. No. That is not the POW. I'm just seeing if there's anything over here. Okay, just shurikens. Nothing major. Man, that double jump timing is really kind of weird. Thankfully for the third one of the series, I know they really simplified it. It's like, just press jump twice and you're good. Have I gotten any money from Twitch yet? No! And the reason why is because they have it structured so they don't have to pay you out, and when they do, they just take a big chunk of it. In order to get a payout for Twitch, you have to have at least $100. Be that either in subscriptions, or bits, or whatever have you. They're basically the two ways. So once you get $100, then you can apply for them to have them basically transfer the money to you. But the last time I read up on it, they take like 30%. So $100 then becomes $70. So if you're like me, you know, I do appreciate any like subscriptions and bits like that if anybody ever feels like donating them, such as you have before in the past, and I'm always grateful for that. But it's like the odds of a person like of me seeing it are like extremely, like almost nothing. Can't remember where I need to go here, so... Which is why, like, if a person has, like, PayPal, like, if they're a streamer and I want to support them that way, if they have a PayPal setup, I'll just do it through them because they take less money than Twitch does. And it's like, and they get it directly. It's like when Yellow Killer Bee had her, when she was doing streaming. It was like, you know, and she had like her PayPal setup. It was like, that's how I'd always do it. I'd usually not do bits just for that reason. Okay. Okay, so that's not something you actually stand on. Okay. Good to know. This is where it requires you to do the double jump. Hey, got it. Not really financially. It's just like, you know, I just do it for fun type deal. You know, I'm not like these people like, I gotta do, like, I'm gonna do YouTube or Twitch and become a famous streamer and make a lot of money. It's like, I have no delusions about making money from doing this at all. That wasn't like my goal to start off and do or anything like that, because, I mean, you're gonna set yourself up for failure. I know people like that. They're like, why aren't anybody watching my streams? It's like, one, are you entertaining? Two, are you playing games that people want to see? You know, and like, do you have a good personality? It's like, it's the other things too. It's like, you gotta have that combination for it, and very few people can do it. Alright, ask Wursel question. What do you do when you wake up talking to yourself, you discover people are listening to you? Dude, the same thing I used to do in school when I got caught sleeping. I trained myself to say amen. So that way, you're not talking to yourself, you were praying, you're very religious and devout, and it puts them in an awkward state too, because they're thinking, oh, I just listened to this man's conversation with God or a higher being, and they feel bad about it. So you've turned around a potential embarrassment into flipping it right onto them. Oh, you're gonna be a pain in the butt there, aren't you? Yay, life. I needed that. So if you can manage to do a double jump in this game, which is, like I said, pretty tricky because I don't know the timing for it, you can, if you do a double jump, you press your shurikens, you throw like 8 of them, which just sprays the area. Get me now! So you have a very, very floaty jump. This one lets me basically absorb a couple hits. Usually good for, like, especially in the other game, for, like, shurikens. See, I don't remember this guy being this pain in the butt, but holy crap, your jump is so freaking floaty. It's like you're just hanging up there forever. Okay, I'm trying to do a double jump. It's like, the game's like, nope, nope, nope. Go to hell. Game over. Yeah. So, pretty much that's it. This one's pretty tricky. My favorite, though, we're going to get to right now. Shinobi 3. It's actually one of my latest Sega Genesis acquisitions. Complete in box. Shadows. He is stronger than steel and moves faster than a windmill. Yeah, move faster than a windmill. That'd be funny. It's like a whirlwind. You know, it's like kind of like, you know, I can actually jump higher than the average house, being that I have legs and the average house cannot jump. A ninja can also jump higher than a windmill. Alright. Boring text. Game options. I think this is the game where I accidentally found a cheat I wasn't meaning to. We'll see if this happens. I think it was this game. I remember I was messing around like, oh, shurikens, let's leave it here. Then I had put down the controller for whatever reason. Then after like 30 seconds I heard a sound. I think it was this game that did it. We're going to find out in a second if it is. Pardon me. I was like, what the hell is that? It changed it like from 0 to like infinite. I was like, okay. So I think it was this game. I can't remember though. Pardon me. How was Wurzel's stream? Well, he played really poorly. And then we sat there and looked at the options screen for a while. Oh, it's the last game did that? Crap, I couldn't remember if it was this game or this one. Which doesn't really matter. Okay, well, at least X got the, he's got the 411. I just remember finding it purely by accident. I was like, what in the world? This is my favorite. This one, I think, it sells on average for like around 30 or so, but I mean, it's faster, you got a dive kick. And I literally gave myself like no shurikens, so I ain't doing that. When we don't play that. Jump ninjutsu. Feels 50 is what it was set to by default. Yeah, but this game's like fast. They made the controllers more streamlined. It's okay, maybe this one does have a wonky double jump too. Yeah, it does. Oh, crap. Okay, so it's basically at the height of your jump. So when you have to do it, it's like you just can't whip it out any way you want to. Like, if you get lower and do it, it literally has to be at the apex of your jump. So, ba-bomb! Kunoichi. Okay, mistimed that. Obviously, since I got smashed in the face. This one is like you explode, it does a massive amount of damage, but it takes one of your lives. So use it as like a last resort, like if you have an extra life left, because you can actually game over from using this. But it's like I have to use it like if I'm about to die and the boss isn't dead yet, and I'm very close to it, it's like I'll use this instead. Go out with a bang. Oh, that's right. I'm trying to think, like, what's this gimmick? That would be it. This one, it's also a lot easier to short hop. Minimal animation frames. Yeah, this is like really good for a speed game, definitely. I mean, you can go. Got the dash, you got the, you know, the dive kick. You got getting smashed by that. You got waterfalls. It's got everything you need. Probably Yellow Killer Beast stream, most likely. I had a friend like that in high school. His name was Randy. We used to call him, still call him the Amazing Rando. It's like you'd hang out with basically became a friend of myself and my friend Patrick, and we're like, one day, like after a couple months, we're like, dude, wait a minute, how did we meet you? It's like nobody could figure out how. It's like all of a sudden he just showed up one day, and it was like instantly with our group of friends. We're like, okay. Dive kick. Oh, okay, that's Shurikens. Oh, wait a minute. I need to take off the super exploding. That's not good. Forgot I had like the instant death kill. Bad timing. Okay, that doesn't hit him at all. It's weird because I played this on Sega Genesis. I swear I nailed that double jump every single time. Maybe it's just an emulator thing screwing me up. Blame the emulator. So, I don't know. Secret entry. An intrigue. And the Kentucky Derby. You know, if ninjas can run this fast, do we really need horses? Now, the task of this was really cool because, like, the boss is like he's got like shadows of himself, kind of like you hit him and like another version of it falls off, and like the task just beats him in like less than a second, like a couple hits in a row. It's like boom, boom, boom. It's like just mowed him down, which is entertaining to see. So normally the fight's a little more drawn out, not really difficult per se, but just like drawn out, really. Also, why did he explode? That's another great mystery. It's like Dragon Ball Z abridged. Vegeta gets like pile driven to the ground, and his big explosion happens. Crawls up from the crater. He's like, "Why did I explode?" It's like, that's a very good question, Vegeta. Why did you explode? Hey, do you want a weapon? Yeah. Do you need a gun? No, I got a boomerang. I'm all set. No one ever expects the boomerang. At some point, you gotta wonder, are the alarms really necessary? You know he's here. You're obviously, I mean, you're crawling through the vents, you know, with M16s trying to mow me down for whatever reason I don't understand. But I gotta say, I love the parallax scrolling here. That is beautiful. Sir, come on. Power. Oh, that was close. Still close. Yeah, Saturn games don't really... Oh, okay, that was not what I was trying to do. I was trying to do a double jump and it did a wall jump instead. Yeah, Saturn doesn't really have a lot of lag. Which I'll be getting to next. Be playing Shinobi Legions, which I own the Japanese, which is like Shin Shinobi Den, which is like new Shinobi story, if I remember correctly. And so the Japanese version is not that different from the American version is not that different from the Japanese version, is what I'm trying to say. Basically, the American version is subtitled for the wonderful FMV cutscenes. Oh, do tell. So I wonder how you cover up for lag and Super, because I remember the 64 definitely had some. You know, input-wise and, like, you know, slowdown in general. Like, Conker's was like, good god, that ran horrific at points. Especially, like, the last level, when you're, like, fighting Alien. It's basically parroting Aliens. It was like, oh, jeez. It's like, oh, this is so much fun playing at 10 frames per second. Every 2 frames, okay. Oh, wait a minute. That's not the bad guy. And it's reversed by controls. Krang is pissed. So the game you're tasking is really showing 30 frames. Okay. Yeah, because I remember, you know, without saying what it is, I remember thinking it was 60, but it's like, it's a 30 frames per second game. Swamp Thing! Why? What did they do to you? Well, you told me what it was, and you've shown me some videos of it, unless it's, you know, if it's the secret Nintendo 64 project. Unless this is an entirely different game. Don't worry, it's a secret to everybody. Okay, that's not working. I was like, let's be cool, and it didn't quite work. Yeah, it's like, so this is like the Krang factory from Ninja Turtles, I guess. Here they are born and then released into the wild. The mature Krang. Try to show off like, yeah, I'll dive kick that thing. Didn't work. Well, I will give away one secret. It is a game. Yes. Don't tell anybody, but tasking a game might be a game itself. So I take it like you're making progress on the secret game. If you're working on it still. Like I said, you know, things are going on. You've been doing other tasks too, but I don't know if you like multitask. If you're a multitasking tasker, okay, was not expecting that. Game. Okay, failed. Probably don't need to go that way. I hope I don't need to, because that's gonna be terrible. Really? So we went back and found more time. That's good. So I remember seeing like how crazy it was getting anyway. Like the two brief clips I've seen of it. Why does it look like one of the monsters of one of the fire monsters from Nausica in the background? Let me go, please. Thank you. I'd like to leave, please. Oh yeah, they ever have this in Super R tape? Yes, get old monster fuel. Nightmare fuel. Oh crap. Yeah, this game like just rips off a lot of things. Like I said, this guy's kind of like the fire monster or fire god they called it. I think it was in Nausica. I'm trying to remember exactly what they called it. Then you have, like I said, you know, Batman and Superman and Terminator are bosses in this game. And Godzilla, Mechagodzilla. How many hits does this guy take? Okay, apparently I interrupted his animation for that. Okay, that's a problem. Where do I start if I continue? Shine! Die. Do it again! Oh no! How could this have happened? Quite easily, if you ask me. Pardon me. So... ah, cool. A timer eventually pops up. So, give me a second here. We're going to switch things up. I'm actually going to hook up the old Sega Saturn itself. So let's get that going. So... let's see, we can unplug that. Need this. Gotta do some hooking up. Yes, just 60 seconds to be fair. Can I speed run setting up? Maybe, maybe not. Alright. Plug that in. Some power to the old retro tank. There we go. And plug in the HDMI for that. That will definitely speed things up. So I am using the OBS right now to stream, which is why you're seeing the the geeks without the sound, because now they copyright it all. But setting it up here, the old retro tank's going on. Gotta get that up and going. Plug it in the old Sega Saturn controller itself. Couple different things you got to set up, but I'm playing this on OBS, as you can tell, and OBS doesn't really kind of play too well with the retro tank for whatever reason. It's kind of weird because the third revision, which was mostly defective, like 99% defective rate for audio chips, if anybody has a third wave retro tank and they tell you that there's no audio problems, they're a bunch of damn liars. Which is why the fourth wave came out, which replaced, fixed all the problems that they were having with the audio popping, so it was across the board for everybody. I think it was Pixel Matt, I think is the guy's name. That guy's just like the biggest crock of shit ever. He would like literally lie to your face just like to get either free stuff or to basically review, and he's like, oh, I don't know what you're talking about. This isn't defective. It works great. It's like, dude, I got a confirmation from Mike Chi himself, the guy who makes these, that these things are like, they're broken, they're busted. He's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about, man. It's like, I've never had a problem. It's like, okay, well, you've managed to not have the one broken unit in the entire planet. But, yeah, so OBS has this weird thing where the audio delays, which used to be that the Elgato software would delay, but not OBS, but now it's backwards now, so the Elgato software works perfectly, but OBS tends to have an audio delay. It's bizarre. I asked Mike Chi about it. He's like, well, I don't know why. It's like, okay, well, you're the guy who makes this stuff. Why is it backwards now? He's like, I don't know. Just use Elgato. It's like, well, that's... A lot of people use OBS. You might want to look into that, buddy. Okay, so... Got this. Pull it back to scene. Yeah, all right. This is OBS not playing well with the Elgato. So give me a second, 5 to 6 seconds. I need to go and stop OBS and relaunch it just because we're looking at this lovely bar screen here. Mark, I hate to tell you, buddy, but you missed both versions of Shadow Dancer. Now we're moving on to the Sega Saturn version. I need to drop the stream. I'll be back in about 10 seconds. Hold tight.